Go ahead and get started.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to the live from London Merrill Scholarship event, which is the latest featured event in the IES Abroad Alumni virtual event series. Today's special presentation will feature a conversation with IES London Spring 22 student, Michael Henry, across the pond there, who is the very first beneficiary of IES Abroad's newly endowed Charles E. Merrill Jr. Scholarship, as well as stories from Charles Merrill Jr.'s early study abroad scholarship beneficiaries. My name is Gretchen Cook Anderson, and as a beneficiary myself, Mr. Merrill's philanthropy, proud Spelman alum, as well as IES Nagoya alumna, I am pleased to welcome you to this special event, which underscores the life-changing impact and joy made possible by philanthropy. I had the opportunity to meet Mr. Merrill during his lifetime, and I know that he would be deeply moved by our collective commitments, which together have created this important scholarship, which serves to both honor and continue his legacy. It is now my privilege to introduce my Morehouse brothers, Dr. John Hodges and Dr. Edward Wheeler, both of whom are Morehouse alums, and through the generosity of Mr. Merrill, were each able to study abroad. Dr. Hodges is in the IES NOT program, and Dr. Wheeler in the IES Vienna program. They achieved distinguished careers in education and the ministry, and more recently, served as important ambassadors in the effort to create the Merrill Scholarship, which now serves current Morehouse student, Michael Henry. Alumni from around the country have submitted questions for Michael toward learning about stories of his individual experience thus far, as well as a view of what it is to be a study abroad student today. Thank you so much, Dr. Hodges, Dr. Wheeler. Shall I just say John and Ed, Mr. John and Mr. Ed, and Michael. For those of us who are Southerners, that's what we do. And to thank Michael again for your time today. Gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Gretchen, thank you so very much for your kind introduction of both John and me. John and I are pleased to have been selected to lead this conversation with Michael, a Morehouse man who we are very proud of. John and I were Merrill Scholars 5 decades ago. And we are still excited about having been Merrill Scholars, and we are looking forward to having this time talking to Michael. I will now turn it over to my colleague and partner in crime, John Hodges.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Michael, for being with us today. Michael, the people want to know how things have been for you. But first, can you say a little bit about yourself? And then tell us what you have been up to these 3 months that you've been in London.
Sure, absolutely. So good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. I know we have a lot of different time zones here, but I am Michael Henry. I am a junior political science major from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I do study at Morehouse College here with some of my Morehouse brothers and my sister here. So it's so great to be here with you all. But I'm excited, for this event tonight, and I just want to start off by saying that my experience here in London has been nothing short of amazing. So when I first got here, it was a big culture shock, as a lot of people say when you're going abroad. When I first stepped off the plane, I'm really here. It took a lot to prepare to get here, but when it actually hit me that I was here, it was like, wow, I just woke up in a dream. But I feel more adjusted now. I feel more adapted to life here in London. As like I said, at first when I got here, it's like, wasn't really know how to mix in with the people, the locals here, but I really got to meet a lot of good people here. I started to come up my comfort zone, started to talk to people more, started to be more sociable. So my experience has definitely been amazing. And I'm just so glad to be here.
Well, let me follow up with a question, Michael. John and I have had the privilege and opportunity to reflect on the experience for over 50 years. And what we've discovered in that time is that the value of the experience continues to increase. I know that you're still in a very early stage, but can you talk to us about what you think the value of this experience has been thus far, and what you anticipate in the next few weeks that you will be in London?
Absolutely. So just speaking to that point, there is a lot that I have gained, a lot that I have learned, even about myself. But one of the biggest things that I feel like the value of this experience is that it's an experience that I know I'm never going to forget, that I'll be able to share with, one day when I get married, have kids, anybody, I'll just be able to share that experience. But I do want to say one of the things that this experience has taught me is that I'm stronger than what I think I am. Studying abroad it's not easy. It's definitely a challenge, and it requires you to adapt to new people, situations, places, and things. And that's definitely what I had to do when I got here. And with that being said, it doesn't mean that I was afraid. It was just having to adapt to that when you're coming to a whole new place with, people. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you went out for a minute.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, my computer just said something. My headphones were connected. I said I don't even have the headphones on. I'm so sorry about that. Okay, all right. So you guys can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. So so back to what I was saying is that, yeah, so like I said, it doesn't mean that you are afraid, but it's just, coming to a place like this with no family, no friends, meeting all new people, a whole new environment. That's what it definitely taught me. So I've learned that I am definitely stronger than I think I am. Also, one of the biggest things that it taught me is that how to be independent and self-reliant. There is no other thing that I have learned. I have learned how to be independent since I've been here in London. Like this includes, I remember my experience here when I was, my first day of class. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be late to class. How do I get here? I take the tube, it's so different. But I figured it out all on my own. Thank God for City Mapper. It has been my best friend, has gotten me around London. And it just shows me that I can get it done. Just trust yourself. And that just came with me just finally adapting to that, and wanting to be here and knowing that I'm here for a purpose. And that just included like learning new skills to be able to adapt to my life here, learning new ways of life, learning how new ways to get around, because it's different than being back in America, as we know. So also learning how to cook. It's definitely, back home I'm used to just going to the calf, or, my mom or somebody cooking for me. So I've learned how to cook here, which is a good thing. So I'll be in my room, chefing it up sometimes. So I just, I've really discovered a lot about myself, with being studied abroad. So that's some of the values. And
You're going out again. You're going out again, your sound.
Sorry,
Yeah, you okay. I hear that.
I don't know why. I don't know why it keeps going in and out like
That's
this.
all right.
Okay, that's all right.
Oh
That's
my
all
gosh,
right.
I don't know why it keeps doing this.
My television buffets, and I pay a monthly fee, and it's supposed to work better than it does too. So you're fine, man. Don't you're okay.
Yes, sir.
John?
Yeah, okay. The cost of studying abroad has definitely skyrocketed since I was in Nantes and Ed was in Vienna. Neither of us could have made this trip, this life-transforming journey, without the philanthropy, the generosity of Charles E. Merrill Jr. What role do you think philanthropy of various very generous donors, what role does that play, if any, in helping make this experience possible for you and for those who will come after you? Can you speak to that, and not only for the program that you're on, for all study abroad programs?
Absolutely, yes, sir. I just wanted to first start off by saying that without the generous donations, especially from the Merrill Scholarship, this opportunity would not have been possible for me. So I just cannot keep saying how much I really thank you all and appreciate that. This really has allowed this opportunity. This is, to me, I view this as an opportunity of a lifetime, and the donations have made it possible. But the donors play a major role in allowing students to be able to do this. There are a lot of students that want to have this opportunity, but when they see the cost, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this, how am I make this possible? But studying abroad opens so many doors and opportunities for students, and having help with having it funded will allow students to be able to be exposed to more things in life, be able to do the things that the career that they want to do by being able to have this experience abroad. So it is a major role that the donors play in helping students to be able to study abroad. For me, this was definitely a leap of faith to study abroad. When I was like, I want to do this, but I just said, I don't know how I'm going to get the money for it, but I'm going to do it. So I literally just stepped out. I applied. I was like, look, I was like, if I put my mind to it, it's going to happen for me, and I can do it. So it really is very important because it also shows when students are awarded scholarships or funded things, it shows that they have individuals that are behind them, that believe in them and that support them. So this scholarship, and also all the donors that I've received, it helps me it motivates me to keep pushing each and every day while I'm here. Like, look, you have individuals back home, across the world that are rooting for you. They've helped you to get here. So you got to push and give it all that you got. So it really just helps with motivating you and to keep you pushing. So it plays a major role in the success of students that are studying abroad.
Thank you, Michael. It is great hearing you and your perspectives. Let me ask you, having begun this new adventure, and you hinted at this some, but what advice, counsel, recommendations, and/or warnings would you give to any of your Morehouse brothers or Spelman sisters who were considering applying for the opportunity to study abroad? What kind of advice and warnings and encouragement would you give them?
So the first thing that I would say is don't hesitate. Just go. Don't think about it. Just go. This will literally change your life. It will open your eyes to the world, and your perspective of life will literally change as it did for me. I know when I first got here, I was hesitating. I hesitated a lot about coming abroad. I knew it was something that I wanted to do, but I just was pondering on it for a while now. But I encourage anybody that is wanting to study abroad to literally just do it. You will literally, I'm telling you, your perspective of everything it's going to be different when you come abroad. So that's the first thing that I would say, because I would say it definitely has been one of the best decisions of my life. The second thing that I would say is don't limit yourself. And by that, my advice would be not to have not to have any expectations that you will have when you were back home. I know sometimes when you're back home, you listen to this and that, or you have these expectations set for yourself, but expand those expectations. And which I did, which by expanding myself by saying you need to go abroad, and which is one of the reasons why I'm here today. So, and for me, I was setting so many expectations before I went based on my limited perspective of what I was really getting myself into, which was kind of the reason why I hesitated on making the decision to come abroad. But then I realized that, look, you didn't have to spend all that time doing that, because now you're here. And if a lot of people don't know, but I literally had to fight to get here. It was a push. But because I was determined, I knew this is something that I wanted to do. I literally, no matter what obstacles came my way, I literally pushed through it, fought through it. I kept going. I said, this is not going to stop me. I'm going to go abroad. I want to get this and that done. So that was the second thing that I would say. And one of the last things that I would say is jump the hurdles that it takes to get there. Like, no, literally, I literally, when I say I've had to jump so many hurdles, not only just with paperwork, the trip was almost canceled due to COVID, some things we can't control, but I was fighting. I said, look, I came this far. You guys cannot do this to me. Some of the administration, from my school, and I talked with them. I said, look, I really want to do this. I put a lot of time into this, a lot of dedication to this. This is going to impact my future, and this is a major component of what I want to do in life. And studying abroad is a must. So like I said, there were so many hurdles that came my way, so many obstacles, but I literally pushed through and literally jumped through all of them, which is the reason why I'm here today. So I just want to say the process is not going to be easy. It's a lot that you have to do within the process, but trust and believe it's going to be worth it in the end. And if you put your mind to it, you can do it, and you can sit in the same shoes that I am here today.
That's wonderful. We're so happy to have you as our first to be the beneficiary of the scholarship. Now, Ed and I were studying abroad during the Vietnam War, and Ed was in Vienna when Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. Now, both of these had significant global consequences. And now we have the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. Tell us a little bit of what has happened. Have you had to defend the United States? What are they saying about this whole thing?
Yeah. So to respond to that question, so the invasion of Ukraine, in my opinion, I would say has united the American people across partisan, ideological, and demographic lines, in which they mostly agree about how the U.S. government should respond to that. And also in the world as a whole, America is viewed as a guardian of democracy and liberty. But back home, some may say America is not seen as a guardian of liberty and democracy, but as a world as a whole, it is. It is. So that's kind of my view on that. And just to talk about some of my experience of to be here, or what it has meant for me to be in Europe during this time in history. It has definitely been interesting because who would have known that this would have came up? And I've actually had some, and it also has been for me where I'm staying at. Some of the workers here, they actually do have family that reside in Ukraine. So I've been talking with them and just hearing their experiences. They've been filled with high emotion. So I've been just to hear their experience of, not being able to get to their family and, the family during this and that. So it definitely has been a very interesting time, to be here because, who would have thought that we would be in this predicament that we're not, and for me to be so close. So just like I said, I've been, talking with some of the workers here, just encouraging them, and, doing things we can to help support them. during this very uncertain time that we are in. But but it does hit different when it's, when you're actually in contact with somebody who actually has families that are currently in these situations, and that they're trying to get out but just can't. So it's definitely, I would say, an interesting time that we are in today.
Yeah, I know that political science is a very difficult major at Morehouse, but it prepares you to go in a lot of different directions. You might not have thought about this, but being in London during this particular time in history, especially with the Ukraine invasion, how does this impact your thinking about your future in political science? Has it made you think differently about where you may put your emphasis, whether you'll be at the State Department or whether you're going to be a lawyer, or what how's it impacted you, and what conversations, if any, have you had with students in London?
Yes, so absolutely. I want to just go back to the first point you made. Political science is not an easy major. Trust and believe.
With Tom Johnson.
Yeah, with Tom Johnson, it wasn't even back in the day.
And even here, I have some, even here in London, I have some great professors here in London. I'm taking a media UK politics class. Taking a leading across cultures class, learning a lot of different things. Great professor, but it's not an easy, not an easy major. But it actually has kind of changed my perspective. So when I first got into college, I'm like, look, I'm a political science major. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to law school. This is what I want to do. So my views have actually kind of changed. So I still want to work in the field of law, but I actually want to kind of do things more so in the field of international relations or foreign affairs, or even something in the field of international business. And I know I've been settling around a lot of things of what I want to do in life. But things, just my perspective of things just begin to change. Since I've been in college and actually since been over here, it just making me realize that, how much I like, at first I like to travel a lot of places. And I'm just very interested in learning just about other countries, how things are ran there, how things are there. And I will be interested in working towards viewing policies and things there. So I'm really more so leaning towards a career, something like international relations / foreign affairs. So I've been really thinking heavily on that, about changing gears, about not really going to law school is something I still want to do, but I don't know if I want to go like right after college. But like I said, my perspective on things have just begun to change. So
Michael, it has been so wonderful talking to you, and that you mentioned the fact that you travel. We urge that you do. So there are many questions, but you have covered many that our audience wanted to ask. And so I think maybe Jennifer, if she's there, she will take over now.
thank you.
Well, that's great. Wonderful conversation. I think we might have time, because we're just a half hour in. If people in the audience have questions, if you want to put a question in chat for Michael or for Ed or John. And Michael, I'll just kick it off with, tell us an anecdotal story, like what's the craziest thing that's happened to you? What's been the biggest surprise? I mean, let's kind of keep it G-rated, but something really fascinating, that a specific thing that's happened to you since you got to London.
Oh my, let's see. I have to think.
You said keep it G-rated, okay.
I know that narrows it down so much, right?
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I would probably say, I don't know, getting off at the wrong station and making me late to class.
Oh, wow.
When I first got here, I just thought that I just had it. I used City Mapper, and I was just panicked so bad. I said, wait, I'm at the wrong station. I've got to get off. So it was just, I had to go to the station, and I was asking people where to go. Some people didn't know. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Then I had to go to the help station. I had to press the button. Somebody was finally able to assist me. So it was really, I was freaking out. I was just, because I don't like to be late anywhere, especially to be class, like to be on time. But I don't know what happened. Like I said, it was during my first week or so here. I'm still trying to learn the area, and I even had the directions pulled up, but I don't know what happened. I thought thinking this was it. But nevertheless, I got to class. It was a little bit late, but I still made it there. So just the craziness of trying to figure out where I was going, and just asking several people, and people not knowing, and I have to press the help desk. So I'll probably say that's probably one of the craziest things that I've experienced, because the tube station is gets a big hectic in there. So I had to.
And then we got another question here in chat. Can you tell us about meeting your IES classmates who've come, no doubt, from different schools around the country? Have you made some friends among that group? And what's that been like?
Sure, absolutely. So of course I've made some friends with some other people from the US, of course. But I've also and that's the thing coming about, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to come to London, because it's very diverse. I've met people from literally all parts of the world, you name it. But here in the program specifically, I've met people from Spain, people from Colombia, people from Hong Kong, people from China. Literally those are just a few places, but I've literally it's very diverse. Also all people from Africa that are staying in the same building that I am. So, and they're also in the program. So I've met a lot of different people from all parts of the world. So yeah, it's been a great time, interacting with people and hearing their experience of, what it's like, back in their countries. And I'm telling them about what's like in my country, and that we're here together. So yeah, that's just a little bit about that.
Fantastic. So I'm curious also, given, that we're still dealing with COVID and the variants and all of this, what has that limited the amount that you could travel? I mean, that's a big memory for so many of us who studied abroad. What have you been able to do travel-wise outside?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been traveling. I said, well, I'm here this close. So far I went to Portugal. I actually have a friend that's studying abroad there from Morehouse, so I met him there. I went to the Netherlands. I went to Italy. I'm going to Paris next week, and I will be going to Greece the first week of May. So I haven't done a lot of traveling. And as in regards to COVID, it has been a little more difficult. There are a lot of more requirements of having to get, tests done, complete these forms. So it has been a little. These times right now has been a little bit more difficult, but I say, I'm not going to let that stop me from, trying to enjoy my experience. So I just been getting all that stuff done. So, but traveling to these other places have just been absolutely amazing. I said, I couldn't be here this close and not go see other places. I've also been to other places here, here in the UK as well. I've been to Canterbury and Dover. We're going to Hastings and Ryde tomorrow, just with a few, I've been to Brighton, just a few other places with the program, but I've definitely been able to go to other countries, and it has just been just like, wow, I'm here. Like, who would have thought that I would be going to Paris next week? That's always my dream to go there. And back when I was in Italy 2 weeks ago for our little break we had, just like, wow, like I really am Rome right now. It really just amazing. Like, just, like telling my family, like, look, you guys, I'm going to Italy this weekend. I can't, just the experience is just, I mean, I can't keep nothing. It's really just amazing that the fact that I had this opportunity. I'm just really grateful to be able to do this.
Let's see. And then we got another question. When you have traveled, what are your can't miss options? Have you visited museums, gone on hikes? What's kind of been your favorite thing that you have done so far in your time there?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, some of the museums, also food. I love to eat. I love trying new food. So it's important when I go to these places that I try the food from I've had Portuguese food, I've had, of course, Italian food. So just, trying these different kinds of foods is of course a go-to. So me and my friends, like I said, we go to some of the museums, some of the historical places in these areas. Like for when we went to Italy, we went to Rome, we went to the Colosseum. We didn't get to go inside, but it was just nice to be able to see it. We went there, we went to the Spanish Steps, just to be a few of the places like, historic things that are in these places. So I would just say, just being able to, try the different kinds of foods, visit some of the museums there, and just, just see how and interact with some of the people there has just been amazing too. Just like there's like, oh, you guys, you're Americans. So it just, just getting that, when I try to do a place, they're like, wow, you're here. So it's talking to these, the individuals that are, from these countries is, it's great to be able to interact with them, just hear their views, get recommendations from them. So that has been a great experience also. And also, what's been interesting is also communicating with some of these individuals. They're like, no English, so I've been having to. It's been a ride, but nevertheless, it's all part of the experience. But we thank God for Google Translate. That has been helping me to get around. But I just find it, just so amazing just to be able to like look. It's important when you go to these places, you need to learn how a few words. So I've been trying to brush on a few words before I go, like how to say thank you, how to say hello, and these different languages to interact. So that has also been quite interesting as well.
Ed, do you have another question?
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Michael, one of the most memorable experiences I had when I was in IES was we had a week orientation in London, and I actually had a chance to go to see the first live play that I'd ever seen in a major theater, and I ended up going to see two in the week that I was there. I know that the cost of going to London plays now is rather prohibitive, but have you had the opportunity to go to see any plays in London?
I have not actually. It's on my list. So hopefully in the next few weeks I can do that. But I actually do have a lot of friends here in the program that have got the opportunity to do so. Some of them have went for their classes or just to go on their own. But I do plan to do that. Within the weeks that I have left, but I have not gone to one yet. But I do hope to get to that before I leave, as I do know that going to a play in London would just be absolutely amazing. Like
Well, I had a cousin who was working in London at the time, and my daughter was invited to go. And I told her I would pay for her to fly to London if she went to a play. Well, they were thinking more about pubs than plays, but she agreed, and she went to see Cats, and it changed it. Seeing that play in London changed her life. She came back with music from Cats and wanted us to see the play. So if any way you can do it, The Man in the Glass Booth changed my life. I saw Oliver also, but The Man in the Glass Booth really changed my perspective on life. And so if you can do that, I would encourage you to save up your quarters and dollars and $5 to be able to go.
Indeed,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great advice. Suzette Henke had a question. I think I can answer a couple of these. She was asking how much it costs to study in London right now for a semester, and I think it's around the $20,000 mark. And the key is that it doesn't, that's for a semester, but the thing is, it doesn't include your airplane round trip airfare. You're probably spending quite a bit on food. London's an expensive city, and then of course these fun travel trips, which are learning outside the classroom. So the scholarships really do make a difference. And then also, Suzette asks, can students study abroad second semester of sophomore year? And yes, they can. So they just need to be thinking about that earlier in their college time and applying earlier. And then let's see, we've got a question from, I think it's Nicole. Do you want to unmute yourself, Nicole Baldwin and
Oh.
ask your question.
Hi, it's Noelle. I just wanted to say, John, Edward, Michael, it's such a powerful experience to see you three on the screen right now. So much so I had to bring my little 18-month-old to see, because I feel like there is a narrative that Black men don't study abroad. You know, when you look at the numbers, it's always very low. And again, I just find it so encouraging to hear your stories and to hear of how you studied abroad in 1966, 1967. It's just really powerful. So my question is, what is your advice to the next generation of Black men in particular to encourage them to go abroad? And I guess this question is not just for you, Michael, but for the three of you, because again, I find just the visual of you and hearing your experiences really powerful. So I would love to hear your advice.
Yeah, so I guess I can start off with that. That's a wonderful question. So the demographics are pretty low, as you know for Black, especially for Black men studying abroad. But when I told myself this opportunity, I said, even if you're the only one there, you're going to go there and you're going to stand out. So you're going to do it. So that's what I put my mind to, and I had said in my mind that you're going to do this, and that that you're going to set the example for other Black men to follow you. And that's where the mindset that I came here is, that I want to show them that it can be done. And so by them seeing me actually here and hear my story and hear my experience, I hope that I wanted to use this to be able to help to motivate them, to let them know that we can do it and you can be just as successful. So.
I see that Harold Ligon is on, and Harold was in Vienna with me. He was at Morehouse with me, and he's on the show. A couple of things, and I'll try to be brief. The first thing that I want to raise is the idea that I was in Vienna during the bombing of Hanoi, and my housefrau came in that morning, and she usually wasn't there or didn't bother me when I had breakfast. But she came in, she was just totally agitated. And she said, "Listen, why did you do this? Why did you do this?" And I said, "I didn't do it, you know." and she said, "You're an American." It was one of the first times in my life that I had been identified as an American without any other adjectives. I was an American. And whether people liked my dark skin or not, I am an American. That's my history and heritage. I can go back 4 generations, back to slavery, but I'm an American. I didn't come last week. And that identification, when I came back home, I made the statement, having gone to Europe and having studied, I came back with a greater love for America than I'd ever had before, and a greater critique of its failures than I'd ever had before. The second thing was more personal. Going overseas, I mean, I had traveled up and down the East Coast, from Malone, New York to see my paternal grandfather, all the way down to Thomasville, Georgia, and to Florida to see my mother's relatives. But that's all I knew. That was all I knew, was America. Europe seemed so far away, the rest of the world seemed so far away. But going to Vienna opened up the world to me. And it helped me understand that I was an American, but I was also a human being who was part of the human family in ways I had never imagined before. And it opened up for me a love of travel that has never died since. And as a Black man, when I start talking about some of the places I have been and gone, people, look at me bug-eyed and say, "Well, how did you do it?" I said, the grace of God and making sure my priorities were not what kind of car was in my driveway, but what kind of experiences were in my heart.
Well, that just seems, John, did you want to say something else? Go ahead.
Well, no, I'm just from the Mississippi Delta, as I said. And so my experience, I went to school, a segregated high school. When I went to Europe, I had an opportunity to study with people from all over. There was some of these people are close friends today. There's a young lady from Florida. Except for football, we agree on a lot of things. We are in a play together. I'm talking about Kathleen Diamond, and there's Pat Murphy's man. So there is an opportunity, if you would just open yourself to this, to be friends with all kinds of people and enjoy the experience. And one last thing, that someone mentioned in a question about how would you value your experience? Well, that value grows each time, each day. I can see, well, this is because I was in France, I was in Nantes. And so this experience of going abroad is something that is with me, will be with me, and it will be with you, Michael, for as long as you live. And so enjoy it.
Well, thank you so much, all of you, for sharing today. I think we've all been just so inspired by, Michael, your experience in London, and Ed and John. I know my name's Jennifer Jerzyk. I work in alumni relations at IES, and nothing has given me more pleasure than working on the IES Merrill Scholarship Fund. And so it's just a huge joy to see you there, Michael. John, your hand is up. Go ahead, John. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, listen, I just wanted to say, my name is John Oakey. I'm the director of the program in London. What a thrilling way to end my day today. What an honor to have a student like Michael on our program. How enriched we are as an organization, how enriched the student body is here, the faculty, the staff. So I just want to thank you, Michael, for the sweetness and the kindness that you exude, and your enthusiasm. I'm going to ask you to come by my office sometime this week and say hello so I can meet you in person. And thank you for this experience. I also wanted to just say what a pleasure and joy it's been to hear from John and Ed as well, distinguished alumni. And I'm sure Michael understands that he stands on the shoulders of clearly great men. And it's thrilling to hear you think about also how you can then support and pay it forward to the next generation as well. And it doesn't always have to be financial, the giving money. As you said, it's being an example. It's doing, being the first sometimes, and standing out and setting, again, a precedent and showing other people that, they can do what you've done. So I just want to say what a thrill it's been to see the three of you again, as other people have said, together here on my screen. And again, I'm just feeling so motivated again and grateful for the work that we do here in Study Abroad and for students like Michael. So thanks again.
We have one more little treat to share with you. 4 of our other Merrill scholars from Morehouse have come together, and I'm going to share my screen here. And we have a very
My name is Harold Ligon. I'm from South Carolina. I am a 1969 alumnus of Morehouse College. During the 1967-68 school year, I was a Merrill Scholar studying in Vienna. At Morehouse, I chose to major in chemistry and minor in math, but I was very interested in music and foreign languages and wanted to become fluent in German. So I felt very receptive to the experience and excited about traveling to Vienna, even though I was a bit nervous. The study abroad experience left me with deep impressions, lasting memories, and very profound knowledge about the world.
I'm Roderick Ivan Pettigrew. In the spring of 1970, on the campus of Morehouse College, I was informed that I had been awarded a Morehouse Merrill Overseas Study Travel Scholarship. And boy, was I elated. I was excited. I was over the moon.
Hello, I'm Dwayne Cooper, Morehouse College alumnus, now Morehouse College mathematics professor. Also, I am a Merrill Scholar. I studied my junior year, the 1980-81 academic year, at Durham University in the northeast of England. That year was very special to my personal development in ways that live with me still. It broadened me in ways unimagined.
Hi there, my name is Ryan Drake Lee, and I am an alum of Morehouse College class of 2004. I was a study abroad participant in the city of Paris in the fall of 2002 with the International Exchange Student Program.
I was on a learning high and all my senses were wide open. Sights, sounds, tastes, and smells stimulated me constantly. London, Paris, and Munich, to Poland and Russia, and from Scandinavia to Spain, knowledge lay at my feet. Art, architecture, history, geography, languages, and customs came to life. All these things provided a backdrop for my life and career.
It was a marvelous year. Not only did I get a chance to live in and absorb the culture of Austria, specifically in Vienna, but I also traveled to 9 countries, and I absorbed, lived in, and learned from the cultures of all of those countries throughout Europe and Northern Africa, and I became a much better person for it.
Make sure to meet people in the country where you're studying and beyond. Students at your college. Talk to people. It doesn't have to just be students. Talk to people in pubs, people on trains, and just share experiences with them. Talk about issues with them. Learn from them, and let it shape your thinking and your development.
And I'm really happy and grateful to have had the chance to study abroad with IES. It really changed and shaped the trajectory of my life and career in multiple ways. And the experience was priceless. While studying in Paris, I made a ton of friends and had new experiences, including participating in a Model United Nations negotiation in Freiburg, Germany, as well as hosting a Halloween party at my host family's house for Halloween. What was remarkable about that party is that in Paris, in France at the time, Halloween was not celebrated. I don't think it is very much today, but more so than back in 2002. And I was looking for pumpkins to make a jack-o'-lantern, but pumpkins weren't for sale. And I made a jack-o'-lantern out of a pineapple, and everybody loved it. They thought it was so clever and creative, and I was just bringing a little bit of what is a very popular holiday in San Francisco to my community in Paris.
So, for anyone studying abroad or contemplating it, I say to you, the experience will highly motivate you and inspire you to positively influence others. You'll grow socially and acquire confidence to face new situations. You'll build a powerful resume, which will make you a more desirable and valuable employee. You'll be a more resourceful person and get invaluable skills upon which your life's work can be built. You'll want to keep on traveling and learning. And trust me, you'll have a more satisfying, fulfilling, and enjoyable life.
I would like to conclude my remarks by thanking Charles Merrill again, his family, the IES, and I want to congratulate the recipient of the IES Abroad Charles Merrill Jr. Scholarship, my young Morehouse brother, Michael Henry.
And our cultural boundaries and international citizenry. So thank you to IES, and I'm happy to be an alum, and congratulate all the Merrill scholars who come behind me. Cheers.